Okay, all right. We know some things about the following speaker. Graduate is obviously a local child of Boyle Heights, right? I went to Roosevelt, so show some love for Roosevelt. We all know he spent some time, of course, at our campus here at ELAC, which is getting more and more beautiful by the time. Probably looks a lot better than it did in the 70s, right? Yeah. I just want to research. Yeah. All right. You want to bring it up?
And not only did he attend ELAC, he then transferred to UCLA, leading some of that blue and gold. And after that, law and
UCLA shout out was both for the mayor and, to get a little bit of that Dennis Sanchez here, because we don't get that fight on. All right. We also know the following speaker was, of course, State Assembly Speaker and Mayor of the great city, as well as led the DNC in 2012, right? And is currently doing some other things.
has doing some great work as one of the co-chairmen of the national campaign for Hillary Clinton, and is serving on President Obama's Economic Transition Advisory Board. And so we are very pleased to welcome our next speaker.
Antonio Villaraigosa.
It's great to be with you all. Thank you for that generous introduction. I want you to know I wrote it myself. Except you didn't include everything I wrote in it. But thank you. That was very generous and very kind. We acknowledge all of you. Thank you for the scholarship. Words and honors. Give them what they can. Another event tonight, and so I'm out had another event tonight a couple of weeks ago. Got a call and said, come on, the Alumni Association Association is putting an event together on they're honoring some young people. He said, yes, I want you to take giving to them with love. There we go. I can speak that. There you go. Much is expected. When I think about my own life journey and how I got to the place that I've been, I always talk about the fact that I had a great mom who instilled in her kids the notion of, they can take a lot of things from you, but they can't take away your education. She always said you're maybe poor, and get an education, you never take that away from you. And so, as a young boy, she instilled all four of us this notion. And I've said many times that I went to Catholic school for most of my life. I went to Lawrence Mission in Boyle Heights, went to the Gala. Lawrence Mission. I went to Santa Teresita. When my mom got divorced, she didn't have the money. I went to Harrison Street School. Went to Cathedral. And then, got kicked out and went to Roosevelt and dropped out. And I tell people it was a Catholic school that gave me a foundation, but a public school that gave me a second chance. And I ended up graduating with a 1.4 grade point average. I did graduate on time. I went to school at night. But, I kind of lost my way for a while. And luckily I had a great teacher, Herman Katz, who was out of the counselor, and a mom who always said to me that, you know, you don't believe in you, but I believe in you. And so I went to East LA College, and it was really at East LA College when I look back where I realized I had some talent. I graduated with 1.4. I go to East LA, took 2 classes that summer. And one was the English 28 class, and the other class I don't remember. Got an A in the class, and when I wrote the final, the teacher didn't believe that I actually wrote it myself. And when he asked me to write another final in front of him, and realized that I had written the essay, he wanted to put it in the LA Times, and as an essay, you know, an op-ed piece. And at the time, he said, well, if this really happened in your life, people got to know about it. Well, I said, well, you said it was fiction. I mean, you said it was nonfiction. And I, at the time, you know, I didn't understand the difference between nonfiction and fiction. So I thought nonfiction meant it was not true. Turns out, fiction means it's not true. So we had to retract the op-ed piece. But that's when I knew. I knew if I applied myself, I could make it. And in a lot of ways for all of you, including the honorees today, what community college is an opportunity that you can demonstrate your talent. Oftentimes, folks in community college, not all the time, but my kids, you know, weren't the ones that got the best grades and went to a 4-year college, but sometimes it's also an issue of economics. And it gives you an opportunity to not just demonstrate your talent, but to realize, and particularly, you know, when you mentioned I went to Roosevelt and grew to Boyle Heights, a lot of people from Eli grew up in the area around it. So we didn't grow up with a silver spoon. Many of us, first generation to go to college, oftentimes, you know, grew up in poor neighborhoods and didn't have all that some people do. What we do have is talent and hard work. And I look back on my experience at East LA, and it was the time in my life when I realized, you know, I can do this. I ended up going to UCLA after that, and I was lucky because in the 1970s, we still had affirmative action programs. I've often said, a lot of people will say that because I went on an affirmative action program, I got a 3.6, by the way, 3.5 or 6, when I left East LA after a year, 40 units transferable. Went to UCLA in the affirmative action program, but you know, I wouldn't have gotten in if there hadn't been affirmative action. And I tell people, some people would say that I came in through the back door. But one thing's for sure, I got out the front. And there's only been one person, one, and that's what I meant by coming out the door, who was both the Speaker of the California State Assembly in America. Nobody else has done. What does that mean? It means that when you invest in people, when you give them a chance, when you show them that they have it in them to do it, they can. And that's really what I want to leave you, and particularly the students who are here, with. I want to leave you with the notion that you can do it. I wasn't special. I maybe had some talent, but I wasn't talented per se. I wasn't the smartest person in school, but I worked hard, and the talent I did have, I put it to use. And I always understood, and that's where I want to acknowledge the rest of you, the alumni here. I understood I started out with, to whom much is given, much is expected. I understood as I hit one first after another. The first, American Mexican descent to be the Democratic way. First or second to be majority leader. The second to be Speaker of the Assembly. The first to be mayor. I understood that the role of the first is not to bang on your chest and say how great I am. The role of the first is to open up the door for the rest. So what you, the honorees, the awardees, and the scholarship winners have a connection with. You have connection with people who went to East LA, grew up in circumstances similar to your own, understood that they have a debt to pay, so they're involved in the spirit club because they know that when you see them and the success they've been able to achieve, that you will realize that you can achieve success in the same way. And that you will understand that there is a virtuous cycle of responsibility. You're going to make it. You're going to go to East LA, now that you're increased your rate to the CSUs by 24%, you're going to go to CSUs, or you're going to go to the UCs, or you're going to go to USC. By the way, and just so you all know, I'm still blue and gold. Well, my daughter's Cardinal and gold, and I'm a professor there, and so I love SC, except when they're playing UCLA. Then I gotta be real. So there's a virtuous cycle. They're here raising money. Some of them have graduated 30, 40, 50 years ago. They're here because they understand they have a responsibility to the next generation. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you will be part of this alumni. I came because I understood I have a responsibility. Well, by the way, I'm speaking of one group. Is this a scholarship honoree student or students? Sorry. See, that gave me briefing. I'm not mayor anymore, so I don't have 10 people giving me briefing before I got a briefing 2 minutes before I walked in and didn't know where all the students were. Let me acknowledge all of it. Let's all the honorees and all the students stand up. Let's give them a big hand. So I'm speaking to all of you. And that's what I'll end up with. I'm speaking to all of you. There's a virtuous circle, cycle here. And that is that when you graduate and you go on and you make it, you come back and you give back. Because in Spanish, what I said to you in English, el papel del primero, those who don't understand Spanish, I'll translate it. El papel del primero no es el golpear tu pecho, es decir, que soy tan único, soy especial. El papel del primero es abrir la puerta de oportunidad para los demás. So the role of the first is not to bang on your chest and say how great you are. The role of the first, so many of you were the first to graduate from college in your family, is to open up the door for the rest. That really is what this spirit club, this alumni association is all about. It's acknowledging the graduates. It's saying to them that you also have a responsibility to the next generation. So I want to thank you for inviting me. Going to human rights dinner right now. But I want to say to all of you, you know, President Obama ran on Yes We Can. A lot of people didn't know it at first. Some of us who grew up with farm workers did. That came from Si Se Puede. And Si Se Puede is a powerful notion. It's the notion that, you know, you have it within you to make it, to reach for the stars and follow your dreams. That's really why they're honoring you today. Not just for your achievement and for your success, but trying to instill in all of you the importance of giving back. So with that, thank you so much. It's great to see you all. Good luck and congratulations on this honor. I think that bestowing a new scholarship to the CEO. Thank you.
Wonderful words from our speaker today. How many of you are or were among the first in your families to graduate from college? Let's see your hands. Hands all around the room. Let's give ourselves a hand. Wonderful job. Now open up the doors so that others may follow. Opening up the doors so that